Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. So, this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. Same with the next one. I spent 6 hours recording the game, and then I came back in and found out that there were major audio problems. My audio was broken all the way through the recordings. Very disappointing. All because of the cable was loose. So anyways, fixed that, and now we're going to voice over. So I've taken the 6 episodes, I've taken about half of them here, and I've cut them down. We pick up our journey exploring basically the Bastion is what it's called, and just continuing on to see what's new in the area. And then from there, we discover new things. So the first thing that we discover going along is Durin's library, I guess. We're, excuse me, of course, putting together statues. You know, we have the Chamber of Marzarabul and the city of Delph, which is awesome. You're going to see here in a moment. So we get a lot of new goals and a lot of new things, but we're able to pick up hints around Durin, the axe, and different things there that's going to help us along the journey. And so there's lots of chests in the area, there's lots of loot, and of course we're just exploring and taking a look at everything. We end up deciding to set up a base in this area, just a temporary base, so that we can have a map stone and that we don't have to go run back and forth down the huge ladder stairway from down below, because it's a it's a long climb, right? The room here that we're going to see is where we're going to set up our base, and then we continue exploring, of course, along the way. I really have to say that, even though not all hallways go everywhere, they did an awesome job at putting all of this together and making it just awesome. And it's funny because as you go through the game, you think you're okay. We've explored everything. There's probably not much more. We're probably near the end of the game because now we're on the eastern halls. We're gonna find the exit and da 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 da. And then you get new goals, and you see and discover new things, and it just expands and expands and expands. I mean, a number of episodes ago, I thought I was probably like 50% done with the game already. Right now, like where we're at in the recordings here, I'm not even sure if we're 50%. And then, as you're going to see in the next episode, 6 hours later, I'm still not even sure we're at 50% of the game, because there is just so much. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. There is just so much. So we start exploring the city of Dwelf. I probably said that wrong. And one of the things we needed, because we start discovering the statues, is ironwood. And we needed some wood, and I broke it apart, and ta-da, we got ironwood out of furniture. And obviously it unlocked a bunch more recipes, and it was like, okay, we're going to start breaking up furniture. And I spent probably the better part of a couple episodes just going around breaking furniture, looking for ironwood, because we've been trying to find ironwood for like the new pickaxe and the new, some of the new stuff for quite some time. We've had a couple recipes that said, hey, you need ironwood. I was like, well, where are we going to get that? And I've been looking for trees, but we found it in the furniture of all things. And so we decided to spend time breaking apart the poor houses. I feel really bad about it because the furniture looks really good. It's like, why are we destroying it all? But, it is what it is. And we were collecting all kinds of additional resources along the way. One of the challenges that we started finding is that as we were doing this, we were making so much noise, right? And you can see the indicator in the bottom right-hand corner. That starts flashing orange, red, stuff like that. The more noise you make, it's an indicator of how quickly a horde can attack you. So every time you have those instances where your base gets besieged or a horde shows up, it's because you're making noise. So you can see the horde came because we were destroying the building and all the furniture. I do like how, in the improvements of the game, they've continued to make improvements, right? And now the horde, it drops. I mean, look at all this stuff on the floor. My goodness, you get so many gems, coins, and black diamonds, which is yay. You know, the struggle there was real a long time ago. You get so much stuff. It's pretty cool. And of course, these guys are tough in this city. I mean, look at the armor they're wearing, the big guys. You know, they were just chopping my armor and chopping me down left and right. I actually die in this battle, as well as several others that come afterwards, because I just didn't have the weapons to plow through them. My weapons just, you know, barely took care of the normal guys, but then you'd get these heavily armored guys and it'd take a long time to chop through them. And of course, I'm terrible at blocking. Sometimes I'm successful, as you saw there, but you know, I'm a spam clicker, I admit it, and you know, it ends up killing me most of the time. Anyways, so we kept exploring. We did go back because we finally got the upgraded pickaxe with the ironwood, and that allowed us to go mine adamant as well as gold, as you can see here. So we went back down into the mines, and we went to places that I had tagged where I could find the gold ore and the adamant, and we mined it up, which unlocked new hearths. And as we got the gold, it started unlocking some new things that we're going to see a little bit later, which is really cool. It got us our weapon upgrades, things like that. So we probably spent a lot of offline or off recording or whatever, non-recorded time as well, just going around trying to find gold and adamant, and you know, mining it up so that we would have it, because you need it in order to make a new type of steel. Then we decided, well, what else is down below in these areas? You know, we had explored these little mine shafts, right, and gems, and at the time I was looking for diamonds, and it's like, okay, well, there was a hint that you could get diamonds down here. Maybe I missed something. And so I went down, and lo and behold, I did. Man, did I don't know how I missed this. Not at the bottom, and not in every crevice, because I couldn't find it in a couple of the crevices. But halfway down, there is a hole in the wall. You can see it right there in front of us. And so I started exploring it, and then it's like, oh, I better record this. And I went back and got new supplies and stuff, and then I started recording it because I'd gone down here and lit it up a little bit. This place is blacker than black and black, and you get despair so fast. There are gems everywhere. Now, excuse me, maybe it's just bad luck, I don't know, but we were running in and out of here in between despair. The campfire didn't even help get rid of the despair. We built it thinking it would, and of course we had the more tough spiders down here to deal with. We were mining the gems and stuff. I don't know, bad luck, I guess. All we would get would sapphires and amethysts and quartz, and you know, we didn't even get rubies out of it, let alone black diamonds or anything. So it was like, well, what else is the purpose of coming down here? I mean, we get lots of gems in the drops, and then in mining regular ore and in the chests that we find. So it was hard at the point to keep going. We say, all right, well, I'll keep trying some more. Well, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky and I will find what I'm looking for. And so I continued mining up the little gems, and then I would run out because I would get despair. And then, you know, I'd refresh myself, calm myself down, and then run back in, so that I could, you know, mine out or look for, you know, more black diamonds, because I needed them. You know, there's the bridge that we have to repair in front of Duero Delph that's like needs 50 black diamonds, and it's like, okay, well, I only have, you know, 5, so where are we going to get 50? It was hard enough to get 20 to rebuild that stairwell. And we thought that, okay, well, maybe this is the way to do it. So as you can see, you know, we're really not finding anything, you know, and we kept exploring and going along to see what we could discover. And hoping that, okay, there's got to be something in here. There's got to be, you know, a secret, a trick. There's got to be black diamond somewhere. Maybe it's something different that I'm just not seeing. Maybe it's just a small chance, so I just have to keep mining a lot of it before I find it. And that's really what I focused on. And you can see in my hotbar, we do have some of the new tools as well. We've got the new war axe. We've got the, what's it called? I can't remember the name now, but it's like a pickaxe, but it's a weapon. It's a two-hander, whereas the war axe is a one-hander. So those are level 4 weapons. Really nice to help us out, to try to figure out what's going on. And I was trying to light the place up because, you know, despair, right? Constantly down here, and despite lighting it all up, and it was a struggle. I must have ran back and forth in this place trying to go further. It just kept going too. And then I would, okay, well, we're not going to be able to eat ourselves out of it. Let's run back, get ourselves undespaired, in which case we had to climb up half the ladders to do. Before we got to an area, I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll mine. I'll be able to sing, you know, like here, and have the mining song, and maybe that'll get rid of my despair because, you know, yeah. Nope, didn't work. We didn't even get the ore frenzy perk out of it, so I don't know if that's because of the despair or whatever. You know, I'd come stand by the fire, wouldn't get rid of the despair, so it was like, okay, fires and campfires down here don't mean anything. Only option is to get out. We came back in and we found this. It is the Nameless, a shadow creature. Reminds me of the Balrog, but it's just like a little bowl type thing. And we were hitting it with the new weapon. You can see here it has a huge overswing, but look at the damage. 19. And yet every time it would hit us, it would do 20, 30, 40 damage, eat through our armor. We were just trying to stay alive, and I was trying to lead it back more towards the entrance because I figured, okay, well, if I get it over here at the entrance, I can get rid of the despair, heal up, come down, and it'll be right here, and maybe I can fight it better. And I kept whacking on it. I probably spent, I don't know, a good 30 minutes whacking away at this guy, and I don't know if his health would regen when I climbed up the ladder to get rid of the despair and recover myself and repair my armor. But I'd come down and I'd attack him again and again and again and again. We just weren't doing enough damage, unfortunately. You know, 8, 7 at a whack, even with that huge overhead swing. So we gave up. We decided, okay, maybe we need to come back when we have a next level weapon. And we moved on back to Duerodelph to kill a troll that had been sitting here killing orcs. And it was like I expected this long battle, and we just barely plop him and he just falls over. So I'm assuming that the orcs he had been fighting that I had seen over and over for a number of times when I was in this hall had worked down his health. And then we decided, all right, well, let's dig through this wall, see what there is, and this is where we see the true city of Duerodelph. Now, they did an awesome job at putting this together. As you come in, I was preparing myself because I expected like hordes of enemies or something, and I heard all kinds of sounds. Excuse me. You come in, it was nighttime, unfortunately, so you could barely see, but there was this huge hall, and then there was like a city on both sides of the hall with buildings and stairways and everything all over the place. And of course, you know, he had the verbiage where he was saying, oh, we found this city, the great city, and all of that. And so, all right, well, let's start exploring through here, see what we can find, what we can discover. We needed more ironwood because there were still more weapons to build, like the maul and other things. So, going through and trying to look, there were orcs everywhere. And we also discover that there are new critters. You know, previously we were fighting wolves. In here, there are wargs. So we finally caught up with the wargs that we're all familiar with from the movies and the books even. And there were lots of these camps. And then you can see these guys are heavily armored. And even with our advanced weapons, like this one here, a huge overhit, they were not one-hit kills. You had to hit them multiple times. And we charged this thing up, as you can see, with the runes so that we could get extra damage and stuff. And it does great damage, just like a lightning electrical effect. It's pretty cool on this one. Whereas like on our war axe, we put the typical orc rune. I forget which rune this is. I can't remember. Each of these camps would have the big boss. He's right there. He has the more orangish skin, and he's larger, obviously. And boy, he could take a beating and give out a beating. We died probably 3 times trying to take this camp here. And then same thing with other camps as we finally got to him. You can see we picked up another black diamond. So that was a great improvement in the game. Dawn is coming, so the city's starting to light up. Every time we would approach these things, though, they would howl, and and then more and more enemies would come. And in this area, you notice there's an axe fragment. So that's why I kept coming back here, as we were trying to find the axe fragment. And then all of a sudden, a horde. It's like, oh my goodness, come on, give me a break. My health is barely holding on, and I would run back and eat a little bit to charge up my health, and a lot of times I would die. and I was silly because I always forget, hey, I could build little mini camps to repair my armor, to spawn closer so I don't have to run so far to get back to where I was. And I finally did fix that. Right now we're just dealing with the horde again. And even with these more powerful weapons, the green guys, they're easy. 1 hit, down. But the guys with the armor, 3 or 4 hits. Anyways, so here's a good view of more of the city as we were continuing to explore. It went off in different directions, different things to see. And so we just kept exploring this area, knocking out the camps, collecting ironwood from some of the furniture. Don't worry, we didn't destroy all the furniture in the buildings. Excuse me. But we got a nice supply. And then, of course, unlocking new statues as well, which was giving us all kinds of recipes for new things. So like here, this one, okay, so never mind. This one, we already recovered all the recipes for this area, which was the weapons. We still haven't crafted the hammer at this point. I needed to go make more Khazad-dûm steel to do it, which you need the gold for. But we just kind of wandered around. We spent several episodes clearing out this city and destroying a little bit of the orc stuff. Every time I saw the little flag things, I figured, well, if I destroy that, maybe they don't respawn. I don't know. But I was doing it. It did get to the point, though, that enemies were not respawning in the area, so I think that is a trick. I don't know if that's a true mechanic. I know if you destroy the big ones in their little camps, the camp won't respawn. But I think those little flag areas, too, if you destroy those, it can help, reduce the spawns. So maybe a tip there. I'm not sure. But every time we'd go through, we'd check furniture to see if it was ironwood. Not all of it is. A good portion of it is. Usually you can tell it's a fancier style of furniture. There's certain chairs, certain desks, and like wardrobes and things like that. And of course, obviously, since we were just up here, destroying things and damaging things, it was starting to set off the little meter. So that as a result, we'd end up with another horde that would come after us. But you can see the fancier furniture would give us ironwood, whereas in some of the fancy bookshelves, and of course we accidentally kept destroying the houses totally, but these little stool things like that, they would have ironwood. The big tables like this that had the scrolls on them would have ironwood in them, as well as some of the bench type things that you would find. So that's kind of a trick. If you're looking for ironwood, is look for that type of stuff. I even tried the railing. I thought, well, maybe the whole place is made of ironwood. It wasn't. So it is just like these little stool things and whatnot. And of course, you attract the horde, and it comes after you, and now you got to deal with the horde. But I don't know if there's other ways to get ironwood. There is a rune that you get to unlock that you can put on an axe, and it says that if you chop down a tree, you have a chance of getting ironwood. Now, I've already chopped down every tree in the Elven area for elven wood. There's no trees left to chop, so I don't know. Maybe the mushrooms count in the lower deeps. If they do, then that could be possible. I haven't tried the rune or anything, so I don't know. That is one thing that elven wood seems to be very short in supply. I did find a couple places inside Duero Delph where there would be a stack of wood, and it would be elven wood, not regular. So that was helpful, because you need elven wood to do certain things. Like if you're setting up multiple bases and you want to build certain things, you got to have the elven wood. So that's something. So I mean, at least the developers thought of that. But it's probably the hardest to get. The ironwood's actually not too hard because there's just so many houses and so much furniture that you can probably get a ton of ironwood out of that. And you need it for a lot of stuff that you start unlocking as well. Advancements in cooking, advancements in smelting, and all kinds of stuff comes from ironwood. So, good thing to have. Anyways, we spent time fighting off more hordes. You could see them all standing outside like they're waiting for their turn. They're, cheering on their champion, going, kill the dwarf, kill the dwarf. Oh, darn it, he lost. All right, send in the next guy. So they're out there. We got an audience. The green ones are easy again, but even with the stronger weapons, the ones with armor would take 4 or 5 whacks. And I'm bad at blocking, and so, yep, I ended up dying, multiple times in these hordes. Sometimes I'm successful. I did, shake off a couple of them. I don't know what the Q is to end a horde, because some of them, literally, it seems like you could go through 100 goblins and orcs in the horde. So I don't know what really dictates how a horde will end, besides you dying, obviously, because that'll always end a horde. But and you can see here I'm just about dead, and I'm going to be dead here in a moment. We got our hammer built. You can see it in our hand. We put the orc rune, the orc killer rune, on it. It's a fast single-handed weapon. We got the new helmet as well, which supposedly inspires fear into orcs. So thank you for joining. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.